Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. Justin, before we get totally into this segment here now, we want to talk about, last year we did an announcement for our interns and we had a bunch of people that submitted, but Nick actually was the lucky one who actually took his time. I mean, he was persistent, man. Yes. I mean, he didn't just send in one. I mean, he stayed on us.
That's right.
And because of that, Nick is here today working and will actively be putting together one of our episodes, right? Is that the plan?
The plan is to have Nick fully edit an episode before he leaves his internship here this summer. So if the quality isn't that good, forgive him. He's just the intern, right? But no, Nick's doing a great job for us. We're happy to have him on board here. And, Todd.
You know what? Before we get too far, I think Nick is beyond. Nick is here more than just to do a video. I mean, this guy, dude, he's already got footage of shooting deer on film. I think he's after your seat is what I think. Or Brandon's seat, one of the two. You guys should keep an eye on making sure that he doesn't sabotage you two.
Brandon, we're going to be out of jobs, buddy. Sorry.
I don't know about that. We'll have to add. We're going to have to add. We'll need more sponsors. We'll have to add.
Yeah, we'll have to add another show. So, guys, it is kind of the dog days of summer now. We're here at the end of July, really going into the first week of August. Big game seasons are going to start opening out west here, within the next couple of weeks. As far as us here in the Midwest, we got about, a month and a half for Wisconsin and 2 months here in Illinois, and we'll be out chasing deer.
I'm ready. I don't know about you. Now, a couple other things,
I don't think I'm ready yet.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm always ready. As far as, before we get too deep into this episode here, a couple things that are going to change with the format of the show. We are going to start adding some bow tech tips. There's a lot of things that you can do to improve your shooting, and we're going to start having, 2-minute little how to shoot better, how to make your bow tune better. So those are going to be added into the segments. So be on the lookout for those. Otherwise, I think we got a lot of food plot action here. I mean, it is summer, it is that time. So
yeah, food plot, stand site preparation, kind of scouting, trail cameras, all the stuff we do during the off season to try to get ready for the fall. So that's what we've got this week. First up, we're going to join Todd out at his property. He's got a neat little segment talking about kind of how he designed some of his food plots to funnel deer.
This is actually at Justin's property, not my property, just for everyone watching the show.
I was unsure that you left your property to me, but thank you very much. I will be out there this fall. So let's check out this segment now.
This is one spot here that I am extremely excited about this year. So I kind of spared you guys this year watching me stick the seed in the ground. It gets kind of boring from year to year. But what's important is that what I want to show you is what I'm doing differently this year in this particular food plot to hopefully give you some ideas to make your hunts a little bit more successful when you're hunting over food plots. So what I decided to do here, this is about a 2-acre spot. I'm going to have corn down below. I'm going to have corn up top. This is one nice trail of beans that's already been planted in here. The goal today is to get those beans fenced off because it's not a big section whatsoever. But what I want to have happen is to have this corn on the top and the corn on the bottom to ultimately create the ultimate runway for these deer to be able to travel through without being seen. It makes great daytime travel corridors from going from finger to finger or from bedding area to bedding area. My stand is right over here off my right shoulder. It's right up there. And basically with the way I have these curved just perfectly, those deer should be coming in here in the early season, eating these beans, walking right along here. And I mean, literally, if I'm that deer coming around, walking right here, bam, there's my shot. So I'm really looking forward to this particular set this year. I guess only time will tell, but I can tell you right now with how, this dirt is so dry. We need rain and we need rain bad. So electric fence is going in right now to keep the deer out of these beans. If you don't do it on this particular spot, there won't be a bean come this fall. So here goes. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm working on the outer fence. So what I do with the center fence, the middle fence, is I keep it a little bit lower than the outer fence. The outer fence is actually going to be the one that's going to be electric. I don't even waste my time anymore making the middle one be electric. It seems to be just more of an optical illusion for the deer where they just don't want to make that jump. If they do hit this one, of course, they're going to get a little bit of a shock, but The inside one just kind of, I think, throws them off where they just don't want to go for it. But I'll tell you what, if you're in a spot where you have a high density of deer and you want your food plot to grow, it doesn't matter what you're planting. I mean, this can be pretty much whatever you want. Right now I have beans planted in here, and what I'll do in the fall, on these two sides, I'm going to run a strip of Heartland brassicas running up the sides to these beans. So I'll end up having corn, beans, and then I'll have a nice Heartland brassica strip coming up the two edges. So this will really be just an ideal food plot. Ultimately, I'm hoping this is going to be a good kill plot because of those two brassica fields leading in to these beans, and then it's a corridor passageway with the corn giving them cover. It's really just a unique setup here, and I always see deer running this top here, and giving them this extra cover just going to make it that much simpler for them to make it from point A to point B. Hopefully I'm either at point A or point B when they come, so that's the goal. We'll see this fall. How rewarding it is, guys, when you come to one of your hunting properties. I'm just getting ready to put up a couple of trail cameras, and to be able to come and look at a few trees that you planted. I mean, literally, I got a peach tree back there, I got a cherry tree over there, 2 apple trees on both sides of me right here, and to see all this fruit on these trees just makes it so rewarding to know that the efforts that you put in do pay off, will attract deer to your property, all kinds of wildlife. I just love it. Well, my corn's looking great. Tasseled out, ears are growing good. This right here is one of my key spots. I don't keep a lot of trail cameras right in this area because I just don't like putting any additional snake right in this immediate area here. But man, I got my, I don't know if you can see it very well. I'm going to switch sides right here, but you can see this runway going up this way here. That's going to be a fall brassica planting by Heartland right along the edge of my corn here. Just give these deer a nice runway heading up to another big block of wood. So this is a great little spot. I'm going to keep moving on. Can't wait to see what's on this card here. This spot here is where I shot that big, nice wide buck last year, and I had an encounter with BMW just literally 20-30 yards over there. I actually moved from over there to this spot over here in hopes to get a better shot at BMW. He kept coming out right at the same spot during daytime hours at the early season last year, and I just unfortunately didn't collect the data early enough. You know, once the season starts, I hate checking my cameras too often, but I ended up getting in here, checking it. I kept seeing that he kept showing up right here during daytime hours, so I ended up moving the stand right here behind me. I ended up shooting that big wide buck. Luckily enough for me, I ended up catching up with that BMW buck later in the season, probably about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a mile from here, but I'm looking forward to see if I got any new hit listers on this card right here. One thing you always got to be paying attention to when you're out scouting around. You can see this browse line right here, but more importantly, look at the acorns on this tree. I mean, this tree right here has so many acorns on it. It's loaded. I guarantee you put a trail camera here along this edge, there's going to be deer hitting this very quickly. I mean, these acorns are monsters. Now this spot here is one of the spots that I'm literally, I think, the most excited about for this fall. I purposely planted my corn to the right of me here, and over here to the other side I've got the corn row here too. What this is ultimately going to do is give these bucks a chance to come from this finger on the other side that's very difficult to hunt, to come right down through here with the security of the corn on both sides, picking some beans along the way, and then right along this edge I'm going to have my Heartland brassicas planted. My tree stand is literally 18 yards from where I'm standing right here. It's like the perfect runway. I'm going to call this the runway stand for this year. This is the one spot that I want to shoot a deer from. If I have a south wind, I can slip around the backside over here, get into this stand with ease. Anything coming from in front of me here will have no idea I'm here, and it takes them to one of my main draws on this particular property out to some other big agricultural fields. So this spot here, the runway stand, is the one I'm hoping to get it done this year. I got my fence up here, as you can see. It's kept these deer out of the beans for the most part. Some of them are getting picked along the edges here, but not too bad. There's still more than enough in here. I actually wish I would have sprayed this one more time, but oh well, it is what it is. Sometimes you just run out of time.
You know, Justin, I tried to spare everyone just watching me put seed in the ground. I mean, this is a particular spot that I've been working on, and it's kind of funny because I know that you and I have had conversations about this, you know, where you see deer in different areas, and you're like, man, if I can only figure out how I could hunt those deer in the spots. Well, that's kind of what I did with this food plot this year. I mean, literally, I've created a runway, and I got the corn giving them cover, so I'm hoping, where I generally always see these deer in the early season, that I'm going to be able to pick one off. That's my goal.
Sure, it's kind of designing the food plot so that you're not just giving them a destination for food, but you're kind of creating a travel corridor, you know, at the same time. And I see a lot of guys doing that, and people are definitely having success doing it. It takes a little bit more forethought into planning, you know, what am I going to plant? When am I going to plant it? How am I going to plant it? You know, there's definitely a little bit more work there, but hopefully it pays off, you know, in the end. So it'll be interesting to see what happens come
If you remember
October.
when I shot that 192, I never, that big buck that I shot, you know, I just love when he comes around the corner like that. So I purposely have the corn where it's just curved like that. So I'm hoping to relive and have another buck just to magically appear in that spot. So that's my goal.
It's wishful thinking, anyways. So, guys, next up, you're going to join myself and Tom Alford, and actually Todd makes a couple cameos in here. You know, we just picked up a new spot to hunt, as Todd was alluding to a couple weeks ago, pretty close to the office here. And, you know, we've been out, you know, trying to do a little bit of work. We're kind of late behind the 8 ball as far as getting started for food plots and trail cameras and whatnot, but we're doing our best. So let's check in on our progress.
My main goal now is just figuring out when these two, Sneaky 1 and Sneaky 2, are they're always like one step ahead of me out at this place. So
you got to be one step ahead of time.
I'm going
Otherwise
to.
He's going to kill all the deer.
I'm going to do something to keep track of when these guys are going in and out. I'm thinking to buy all more wireless stealth cameras to be able to know when you guys are going in.
Well, as long as we know where we're
Or maybe
at,
tracking
where
devices
at,
on your car would be better.
Well, then we'll just
on your bodies.
ride our
like
bikes.
Find My Friends, I can just watch them.
All right, let's watch the segment now.
All right, well, here we go. We're out at our new property, the property that Todd and I came out to last week and mowed down a bunch of trails, and we found a good couple areas for some fall food plots. So Justin and I are going to get out there and start spraying, kill these weeds off, and then come up with a plan as far as what we're going to plant for this fall. So let's do this. All right, well, we got back to the first spot. Initially, after scouting this property this winter, I really like this high spot throughout here. Basically, it's surrounded by a bunch of different swamps and then CRP bedding area. So we're right on the highest part. We've got a great tree to choose from over here for a stand location. So we just kind of knocked out a little bit of the native stuff, and we're gonna get this all killed off and get it planted, and hopefully just start drawing in a few does, you know, that want to start living in this area and eating something different. So let's do it. You can see right here, this is a really nice trail right on this high spot. Look at that. The deer just already filtering right here. This is perfect. See that? Great spot. We also left a bunch of these cedar trees because eventually we'll end up hanging some tank strippers on there and hopefully, you know, get a good scrape going. And if we're fortunate to have a big buck come out here during daylight hours and stop at that scrape, it'll give us time to shoot him. About a 30-yard shot from the tree. All right, well, I put this camera up about a week ago, and it's right on this nice little trail, basically moving between a little water hole and then some beans. And actually, there's a little bit of bedding in between, so I'll pull it, see what we got.
As you just saw, we came in here, we checked the camera that Tommy put up about a week ago. essentially what we've got is a soybean field directly to, I guess it'd be our west. We've got a bedding area back here behind us. This is just a great little kind of a pinch point in between field and bedding as these deer are moving around. And we got one pretty good buck on camera here. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but Tommy actually knows this deer, or alleges that he knows this deer. This is pretty close. This new lease we got is really close to where Tommy's been hunting the last couple years, so he's got a lot of history with the deer that are on this property. But it looks like a real nice, he says a 4-year-old. Nice big body deer, nice 8-point, probably going to be high 120s, 130 anyway, so it's a good sign. We got at least one good buck out here to chase, and we're going to go finish spraying food plots and setting up some more cameras, so let's get to it. All right, guys, we are here at location number 2. We're going to try to get a food plot in anyways. Basically, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, this place that we're hunting, as you guys can probably see from looking around me, is just ultra thick. A lot of low, like scrubby brush. It's basically like 150 acres of just bedding area, which is crazy. But what we've got here, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we've got a couple really big white oaks. There's actually a line of them heading north. There's probably 4 or 5 really big white oaks that are just absolutely loaded with acorns. So what we did is or I should say what Tommy and Todd did, is they came in and they cut all this grass down that was in here and all this brush. We're going to spray it today, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do here for food plot. You know, depending on how much time we have and what the weather looks like, if we can get, you know, a rototiller or a disc or something in here to get this disc up, we will. Otherwise, we may just end up broadcasting like a mix of, you know, maybe winter rye, winter wheat, and some buck forage oats, and maybe some of the little bit of Heartland wildlife brassicas mixed into that. You know, that stuff does pretty well even without tilling the ground. It'll grow pretty good as long as we get all this killed. So that's the mission for today. Got the Moose ATV boom, which certainly comes in handy days like today. So let's get the sucker turned on. We'll get her sprayed and finish checking cameras. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. As we said earlier, it's July 26th. It's getting to be crunch time. You know, hunting season's going to be here. Wisconsin, about a month and a half, 2 months here in Illinois. So we're just out, you know, pounding it, trying to do as much work as we can. We've never hunted this place before. We have no idea what to expect or really what kind of deer are here. Obviously, we've got pictures of a great buck. Really nice. Probably, he may push 160 when it's all said and done. Beautiful deer, a lot of really good up-and-comers. You know, Tommy and I have been doing a lot of kind of just velvet scouting or glassing some of the surrounding bean fields in the evenings. We've been able to film a couple really nice bucks right across the street from where we're actually going to be hunting. So those deer definitely have the potential to make it in here. So we've got those deer, plus the ones we've got on camera, and I'm sure there's a few more. We've got about 175, 180 acres here. I'm sure there's more than one shooter buck running around in here. So that's going to be it for tonight. The next time you see us, I guess we'll be back out here checking trail cameras and checking the food plots, maybe one more spray before we plant, and hunting season will be here before you know it. So that's all for tonight. Over and out, Bowhunter Daddy.
So you notice the only time that I've even seen in this segment is in the tractor. You don't see any other time when I'm doing anything else.
You didn't get out of the tractor.
That's not
so
true.
How are we going to show
There was
you
all the
anything
footage
else?
of me and Tommy setting up the stealth cams. That all disappeared.
There wasn't.
Yes, there was. He filmed
I got
me.
nothing.
No, you went off on one of your sneaky little rampages and disappeared, figuring out where you're going to hang stands. I'm telling you, I'm going to go out to this property. It's like I'm going to get all excited about hanging a stand. I'm going to look up, and the stand's already going to be there. I know how this works.
We're going to do all the work for you. So, guys,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a whole lot else to say. You know, it's a brand new piece of property. We really don't know what we're in for. It's an interesting place. There's not a lot of natural travel corridors or funnels or stuff, so it's going to be maybe a hard spot to hunt, but it's definitely got some potential. We think there's going to be some nice deer in there this fall, so you're just going to have to stick around and, you know, see what happens come hunting season. You know, Todd, as you mentioned earlier, we're going to start including these tech tips into our show from here moving forward. You know, and a lot of these are going to come from our partners over at Lancaster Archery. As we've mentioned before, these guys are experts in all things archery. You know, and half of bow hunting is archery, right? So, I mean, becoming a better archer, knowing how to work on your bow, how to shoot it properly, how to tune it, you know, ultimately is going to make you more successful, you know, in the field when you're bow hunting. So these are some great tips. Hopefully you guys learned something from them. So without further ado, let's check out the first one.
You got your bow grip here, and it looks like something that you should grip like a pistol with your fingers wrapped around That's an improper position on the bow grip. Where we want the bow to sit is right in this part of your hand. If you hold out your hand like you're saying stop, okay, you can see my thumb and forefinger make the letter L. Now just rotate your hand until they make a V. What you'll notice is your lifeline is now vertical. So you're going to take the bow with your hand in that position and you're going to set it. Set the grip right in there just like that. If I were to relax my fingers, my knuckles are at a 45-degree angle versus straight up and down with the pistol grip. And what that does is that is a neutral spot. The inside of your palm right there against your thumb, the meaty part of your thumb. So when I release the bowstring, the bow is only going to go forward towards the target. I'm not gripping it. If I were gripping it, I could torque it left and right, influencing the shot. No, I want it sitting right in there. When I release the string, the bow's only going to go forward. One of the things you can do to help you get into that position is just curl your fingers in tightly against the upper part of your palm. They're sitting nicely against the side of the bow. There's a product made by Neat. It's called the True Shot Archery Coach. It's a little device that slides over your first 3 fingers. It's got a point, a padded point, and you'll notice when you start to close your hand, the point sits right up against your lifeline. It forces my hand into the correct position and I can't grip the bow. You can practice with this until getting the proper hand position becomes second nature to you. If you got any questions, you can check us out at lancasterarchery.com.
Well guys, we hope you learned a little something from that segment that's going to help you become a better archer, hopefully become more successful this fall. Now Todd, what do we got up next?
Well, we're going to join Neal and Josh Fletcher as they continue to do more food plotting.
Yeah, they're doing some food plotting, and actually Josh is doing some public land scouting in Wisconsin. I know everyone's always clamoring for public land information, so here you go, guys.
All right, well, here we are. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning here in June. Gorgeous day. It's a little warm, but not too bad. I am in my favorite spot here in Houston County. It's just a gorgeous morning, big fog coming up over the hills, and just an absolutely gorgeous morning. I'm in one of my favorite spots. I had a food plot here last year, had encounters with 2 big bucks right in this plot. And this year I'm trying to enhance it a little bit more. I came here a couple weeks ago, killed it, and then now I had my wife's uncle who owns the land. He actually has a discer, and it looks like he came in here before I got a chance to, and he disced this whole thing up. So it looks absolutely perfect. So don't actually really need to do much today food plot wise in here. I got my stands re-secured. And I'll probably check a couple cameras and should be good to go. This spot just lays out absolutely perfect. We have this big long trail that I'm going to actually plant with forested trail, which is a clover mix. I'll do that here in a couple months, or actually in a month. And then behind me it kind of opens up into kind of an eye drop. Everything's basically within 30 yards of my stand, and so we're going to plant, I think, turnips in here this year. And that kind of butts up right up against the corn. And it's just an absolute perfect setup. With even a north or even a west wind, the way this terrain lays, it just kind of blows and drifts off away. And we have a bedding area kind of up and over this hill where they'll sometimes come out of the corn, either into the corn and then work their way down, or they'll come from another bedding area which is basically to the north and west of me. So really sets up as a perfect stand. Morning and evening. My access is a little tricky. This year I'm going to try to kind of scoot around and not spend as much time right here in the core of the area, but this is just a awesome spot. I am so pumped, and I can't believe how well the tilling worked in here, because this is just black, beautiful dirt. So I think this will plant and set up well. I got a couple more things I'm going to take care of. I think I'm going to go look at another food plot here since I got some time. And yeah, it should be great. Bow hunt or die. All right, well, I just got down. I only have one camera on this property, and it's at a mineral station that that I use here and have used the last few years. I came out here about 2 weeks ago with some Lick Magic and put that out and put a camera out, and the camera already has over 2,000 pictures. So this is one of my favorite spots to put a mineral. It's probably about 200-300 yards from any stand that I hunt, and it's also, just so we're not going in and out, and it's also right on a four-wheeler trail, which runs basically straight up and down this hill. So what you can do, or what I can do, is I can drive right up to it, check the camera, pull the card without really interrupting the woods too much. The other thing is the landowner does drive around here a little bit, and the deer are used to him driving through here. So it's pretty minimal impact, and hopefully I can get a little inventory of the bucks that I have on this property. So I'm going to do that now. Bow hunt or die. All right, well, I just got my camera all set. I updated the settings. I took over 2,000 pictures in about 2 weeks, so I updated the settings to be slightly more delayed, on a 2-minute and 30-second delay instead of 1 minute and 30 seconds. But yeah, this looks good. I'm gonna leave this thing go, get the heck out of here, and hike up out of this trail. So it's looking good. Now I gotta go work on my stand. Bow hunt or die. All right, well, we're down, we're in one of my favorite spots here in Houston County on my wife's uncle's farm, and we're putting in a new food plot. So we used the forestry tractor first, and he tore up a pretty good area, and now we're running the disc over it, and hopefully in a month or so we'll be able to get it done. George finished my other plot before I even got a chance to get here, so bonus. This is, I think we're gonna have to call this the bonus plot. So I got a stand tucked in back here along a creek. I got good access, so it should be awesome. Look forward to it this fall. Bow hunt or die. All right, well, I am just about wrapping up the morning. I got one more thing to do. We got this food plot all disced, and I decided, you know, if you're gonna do it and get it right, we need to kill off everything. So I filled up, quickly got the backpack sprayer filled up here. It won't take me long. I'm gonna run up and down here and spray everything off good and make sure we are good to go for planting here in a few weeks. You got to prepare the soil. You got to get good black dirt, seed to soil contact. So we're close in a lot of spots, but it's worth killing, and it's a good day to do it. So this is going to be an awesome spot this fall. So bow hunt or die.
Well, it's early June, and I'm just like everybody else out there. Time is limited for me. I want to get in here and I want to get my food plots mowed and maintained. What I'm working with today is going to be my clover plot that's in front of me here. And what I like to do is mow it. A lot of times I'll probably try, in an average year, I'll get 2 mowings out of it. And the big thing with your clover plots, guys, is get in there, mow it. You don't want a lot of stem. As that clover gets taller, it develops a thicker, more fibrous stem, and whitetails, they don't like that. They want that fresh, new growth. To stimulate that, I come in with, I got a pull behind mower behind my ATV. I'm gonna mow it down probably about 3 to 5 inches. I've experimented. It really doesn't matter if you mow it 3 inches, 2 inches, or 8 inches, but just get in there, mow it, break down that stem, and that stimulates that fresh growth that the whitetails are looking for. So let's get everything fired up here. We'll get the helmet on, get the eye protection on, and let's get mowing and get these food plots taken care of. The last tip I want to give you if you're filming your food plot management segments is make sure your second angle cameras are well secured to your ATV or your equipment. This here is my second angle camera that decided to get mowed along with my food plot. Didn't realize it fell off.
And my mower knows no boundaries, and that's going to be a little costly mistake for me. Yeah, I don't think this one's going to be salvageable. Well, we've got our clover plot taken care of. If I look hot and sweaty, because I am, it's about 90 degrees out right now. Like I said earlier, it's beginning of June, and a lot of people ask, well, what's the best seed to plant? What should I plant? Beans, brassicas, corn, soybean. You know, the honest answer is there is no magic bean, pardon the pun, but you're not going to plant something that's going to draw deer from miles around. What's more important in your food plots is food plot location. Deer need security, they need cover. This particular property that I'm working on today, it's 85 acres. Now that sounds like a relatively large tract of property. However, only about 10 of it is huntable. There's about a 10-acre pine plantation. The rest is all cattails and marsh. There is another 10 acres towards the road that's upland and I'm able to plant food plots in. Major issue that I'm having with this property is that that's from the east side is where I have to access it from. Meaning I got to walk right through my food plots to get to my stands. If I can leave you with one important tip about food plots that is going to help you kill more deer, it's going to be your access in and out of your stands. And that pertains to food plots. If you have to walk through your food plot to get to your stand, you're going to be bumping those deer on the way in or on the way out, depending on whether it's a morning or evening hunt. What I'm doing here today is I'm tilling up probably about 16, 18 feet wide around the outer perimeter of my food plot, and I'm planting what's called a blocker. If you're like me out on this property here, a lot of this is WRP property, meaning I can't plant trees out here. So what I use is an annual blocker. So what I'm planting here on my annual blocker is going to consist of sorghum and Egyptian wheat. Excellent crop to plant to give you that visual barrier that blocks you so that when you come into your stand, you're not bumping those deer on the food plot. Sorghum and Egyptian wheat can grow anywhere between 6 to 12 to 14 feet tall. Even the Egyptian wheat can get super tall, which creates an excellent barrier. I always say a good rule of thumb is if you can see your food plot from the road or from the ground while walking into your stand, your food plot shouldn't be there. If you don't have any other options, plant the blocker, plant this sorghum, plant this Egyptian wheat, and it'll grow up and it creates not only cover, creates security, those deer feel safe because they're secluded inside your plot, and also it prevents poaching and people from the road from seeing it. The only time I want to have a food plot that's this close or this out in the open is when I can only see it from my tree stand. I want that visual barrier on the ground that's about 6 to 8 feet tall so that I can slip right on past it without these deer seeing me. What we're doing here now is we got everything all tilled up. I'm going to go through, I'm going to lightly kind of create my seed bed here. Once I get my seed bed created, it's rather simple. It doesn't take a lot of equipment. I have just my ATV with an old antique spring rake or spring tooth harrow, and I'll work up this ground. I'm just going to use a broadcast spreader. Walk around broadcast spreader, and I just broadcast my seed. Once I get it broadcast, then I'll just rake it back in, and people refer to it disking the seed in. You don't want to over disc it and get it too deep, but I wanted it probably about a ½ inch deep. And once I get all the seed done and taken care of, then I'll just kind of go over it with my ATV tires and just kind of roll it and pack it back in. If you had a cultipacker, excellent. But again, you don't need all that equipment. You can actually get by with rather simple equipment and have fairly successful food plots. Well, we're at the end of June here and we're out on some public land doing some scouting. That's one thing I do enjoy about public land other than the mosquitoes, and I always seem to scout during the hottest time period of the day. But one thing I like about public land is it gives you many different options. If you hunt a 40-acre woodlot, you might only have 2-3 stand options in there, and that's it. With the public land, I can bounce around. I can find all these different spots, and I can just kind of keep going from spot to spot throughout the season without burning out the area. But what I'm here to talk about today was kind of what's behind me, and I've always been a big advocate of edges. And building off of edges, like here's what I would classify as a soft edge, transitioning a little bit to a hard edge, but you got some red brush that comes in, and then it connects. Here's we got a little popple island, and behind me is an oak ridge. Building off of that, what I'm also looking for is diversity. I want an area, I don't want to hunt a spot that's all maple. I don't want to hunt a spot that's all oaks or all pines. You're really going to find your deer in areas that are very diverse. You want to find them spots that you have this popple island, and then you got this red brush that grows up, and you got your marsh grass, and then you got an oak point that comes in. All these little different areas are like one check on a box, and as the more checks you get in a closer area, the better your stand opportunity is in that spot for seeing a nice buck. So that's what we're doing today. We're going in, we're gonna pop in, check these areas out. It's hot, it's humid, your typical dog days of summer, but we're out here, we're out scouting. Let's get her done, see what we can find. Well, we're on day 2 of our scouting. We're doing something not too different for us, but we're coming in to some public land by boat. And the big thing with whether it be public or private land, I think a lot of people focus a lot on scouting deer. You also got to focus on scouting hunters too. Where we're in this particular area, it's a very popular pheasant area, and as you get up by the roads, there's a lot of CRP grass and a lot of fields. And the issue with that is once pheasant season opens up, you got all the hunters coming in with their dogs and they're pushing deer back in, further back in. So what we're doing here is we're coming in by boat. We're going to access public land from along a creek and a river. It allows us to basically get further back in, because once that hunting pressure starts up front, it doesn't matter if it's deer, squirrel, whatever it might be, that type of hunting pressure will push, especially your older age class bucks, they'll push them a little bit further back. So we're going to go in, there's a lot of nice oak islands and amongst this marsh grass. We're able to come in by the boat, which basically puts us right in the heart of this backcountry where these pheasant hunters end up pushing these deer at come towards late October or early November. So let's get the boat launched, let's get in there, let's go find us some public land bucks. We've came back in, and one big thing is when I first started hunting this area, you always have that mindset, you want to go deeper, you want to go further in to the backcountry to get away from other hunters. When you come in by the river, you're already as far in as you can go. So actually the farther in you go, the closer to the road you get. So we just came up off the river, and what we're looking for in these spots is diversity. I can't stress that enough. Edges and diversity are your 2 big things. These are all oaks up here. These are different types of oaks. There's some reds, there's some whites. I've even seen some bur oaks up in here. And this is just an island. I don't even know how to describe this, maybe an acre big. This is just an oak island. We've got good, what I refer to as a red brush that kind of wraps around. But in this area here, there's points and fingers that kind of come out, and then you'll hit red brush and cattails, and then it'll lead to another oak island. During the rut, what these bucks are doing is they're just traveling from these islands to islands, spot checking for does, because the does will come up here and they'll feed on these acorns. So this is kind of one of those spots where you just kind of set up where you know that point filters, and you're waiting for them to filter down that point and come onto this island, hopefully to intercept them. What we're going to do when we find a good pinch, I know from past history there's one right up here where this red brush leads to another point. This is where we like to come in, put up a game camera. We don't use game cameras so much to pattern a particular buck and say, you know, this buck's coming through at 9 a.m. I like using game cameras to tell me a good inventory of what's in this area, how often are deer utilizing this area, is there a caliber of deer that we're interested utilizing this area. So we're going to take a look around, kind of find a good spot to pop up a camera and take some inventory of what's in the area here. And we'll leave these cameras out for a couple months before we come back in and check them. Got the boat out of the water. Spent 2 good days here worth of scouting. About a gallon low in water because it's about 90 degrees, and about a pint and a half low because of the mosquitoes. But we did a lot of good scouting back here. Found a lot of different options, and that's one thing I enjoy about hunting public land or big tracts of even private land, just to give yourself more stand options, and that's the big thing. A couple of tips I just want to leave you with is, not only are you out scouting for deer, but also scout for hunters. Figure out where the other hunters are at. Where's that pressure coming from? Because then you can kind of narrow down these larger tracts as to where the deer potentially may be, or where they're not going to be based upon hunting pressure. The other thing is you're looking for diversity. I don't want to hunt something that's just straight maples or straight oaks or just straight pines. I want diversity. I want to see, you know, where these oaks kind of meet cattails, and those cattails filter into red brush, and I'm looking for those edges, those pinches, that very diverse area. The more edges that you can have coming into an area, the higher that area should be on your priority list come fall. So we've been out here, did some scouting here for the last 2 days. It's been hot, been muggy, but it's part of the game, nature of the beast. For us, this is kind of hunting all year round, so we got some good areas. We're going to go back and throughout the summer start shooting our bows, start getting equipment ready because fall is right around the corner.
Well, Justin, after seeing Neal's honey hole, I got to tell you, if he does not get the job done this year, I'm in. I'm going to Minnesota.
Well, we have the map. We know where he's at.
We got everything.
We're on our way next year to Minnesota if Neal can't manage to kill a deer over there this year. And then, you know, as far as Josh is concerned, like I said, he did some public land scouting, which, you know, everybody always loves to see that. You know, seeing that public land success is kind of nice to have, a little change of pace. And then obviously, you know, he does have some private land.
Yeah.
He's doing some food plots. He's putting in the hard work. We're just going to have to wait and see with both of these guys if that hard work's going to pay off this fall.
And I mean, Josh is die hard, Justin. I just got off the phone with him. He's going elk hunting for 3 weeks. Who gets to go elk hunting for 3 weeks? I want to know that. I want to know.
Not me.
Not me either.
So,
I can't even
will
go
say
anywhere
that.
for 3 weeks.
Well, that's not
I'm going to have to
entirely
do
true,
something
so
different.
I wouldn't go as far as saying that. But guys, you know, next up we want to thank the folks who sent in their trophy photos for this week's episode. Hogan Deckard,
Gary Gifford,
Craig Tilley,
Justin Sharp,
and Jacob Neubauer. Hey, congratulations, everybody. Thanks a lot for sending those trophy photos in. Remember, if you guys want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, all you've got to do is submit your photo to us either on our Facebook page or go to bowhunting.com and click on the Submit Your Trophy button. Now, Todd, that's all the action we've got for this week. What news do we have for the people?
News. Deer Fest, guys. I mean, we're definitely, I saw in the warehouse the other day, the booth is being put together, and we were going to be traveling to Deer Fest in Wisconsin, so that's a great show.
Yeah, that's going to be in West Bend, Wisconsin, which is just north of Milwaukee. If any of you guys want to come out and see us, we're going to be there. I believe it's August 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'll be there the entire time. Mike Pierce will be with me. Tom Alford's going to come up. Dean Krieger's going to be there. Josh Fletcher's going to come over. We're going to have a bunch of different guys in and out of the booth while we're there. So stop in and say hello. We're going to have a lot of bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die gear for sale. And we'll also have a sweepstakes of some sort for you guys to sign up for. So don't miss that. And anything else going on? Anything exciting? Getting ready for your elk hunt?
I'm getting ready for elk hunting, for sure. But I tell you what, Justin, I mean, every year when I do sign up for these other hunts, and then you start getting your trail camera photos start rolling in, you start going, oh, geez.
It's coming.
It's coming. Maybe I should stay home and not go elk hunting because I got some good bucks I want to chase.
Yeah, that's all right. You'll have a good time elk hunting. So I know we got a couple of our team members who are gearing up to go out to Wyoming here soon and do some both antelope and mule deer hunting before too long. So hopefully we'll have some more dead animals for you before too long. But until next time, we'll see you then. Bowhunt or Die.
For more exciting action, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and receive live updates from our team members as well as the latest happenings in the bow hunting and archery world. Be sure to share your photos, stories, and experiences as well. And don't forget to pick up your official bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die gear by visiting bowhunting.com/gear. We have a full selection of hats, shirts, decals, wristbands, and much more.
Let's do take two now that it's gotten quieter. We'll keep it going. And 3, 2, 1, action.
We're going to put you up on the mantle like the dog last year.
Yeah, just have you sit up there. Hey guys, this week we got another great episode lined up, so make sure you tune in this Friday. Justin, why don't you turn that frown upside down? We got a lot of great stuff in this episode. So guys, remember, tune in this Friday. Lots of great stuff.